Hello and welcome to today's event. Find out why A plus users are moving to Infor CloudSuite distribution. My name is Jason Maxted. I am an Action Associate, and today's presenter is Mr. Rob Dallas. Rob has been a senior distribution solutions consultant for 25 plus years, working with Infor distribution products and helping distributors like you find the solutions you need for your business. At the end of today's presentation, you will see a link to a website to go to for any and all information you may need for discussing your move forward from A plus, Infor A plus to a possible move to Infor CloudSuite distribution. You will also be able to contact Mr. Rob Dallas for a demo and for him to answer any and all questions you may have. And if we're all ready to go, Rob, it is all ready for you, sir.
Great. Thanks, Jason. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you.
Great. Just as far as the agenda goes for this webinar, I have a few slides at the beginning. Then we'll jump into about a 15 or so minute demo of the actual software. And then I have a few slides in conclusion about the action difference. So one of the things distributors are noticing are the challenges in the industry, right? And here was a report released by KPMG that discusses the manufacturing footprint change, that 71% of global companies highlight raw material costs as their number one supply chain threat in the coming months. And how can we manage and control those costs? Cybersecurity. And almost half of global organizations consider cybersecurity as an important operational challenge for their supply chains for the next 3 years. As a distributor, the challenges you face today force you to rethink how you do business. Old processes and approaches just don't cut it anymore. So the essential mindset shift is for distributors to realize is that technology is no longer a back office cost to manage, and that digital is a weapon they can leverage for competitive advantage upstream and downstream. So Infor CloudSuite Distribution, also known as CSD, is the ready-to-run solution built specifically to meet the needs of distributors, give you deep proven capabilities in key areas such as inventory management, order processing, pricing rebates, supply chain and procurement, value add, financials, and much more. So Infor is the author manufacturer of CloudSuite Distribution, just like they were A+. They have recently grown to be the third largest ERP software company in the world. You can see their strong micro-vertical expertise positions on the left in the different verticals. But I think what's important to note here is that Infor really is striving to be a leader in technology and innovation. What I mean by that is, yes, they're continuing to add distribution functionality to the product, but they're also leveraging new technology like AI, like workflows, right, to, again, make users as efficient as possible and allow them to work the way they live. Right? Technology runs our personal lives these days. Well, how can we leverage that technology to make work, right, our business lives more enjoyable and more efficient? So let's do a little comparison between CSD and A+. CSD runs in a browser, so on any device from anywhere, a desktop, a laptop, tablet, even a smartphone. If you're traveling or remote, you don't have to remote desktop to a server, which requires hardware and obviously licensing. As long as you have cellular connectivity or Wi-Fi, you can get into your system. Real-time processing. Optional analytics component, which you're going to see with predefined content out of the box. So we can take all that data and turn it into useful information. Monthly updates versus upgrades. Okay, so you're constantly going to be on the latest and greatest version. You're not upgrading every 4, 5, 6, or even longer years. The new expense option, so an operational expense versus a capital expense. This is our flagship product going forward, where they're investing all their dollars, again, in functionality and technology. So a continuously evolving software roadmap. And this last one's important. Minimize the risk of IT skills shortages on legacy systems similar to A+, because those people are, some retire, some have transitioned to new next-gen products like CloudSuite Distribution. So the CloudSuite Advantage, it's not a product, but a service. So you own the data. The payment structure is based on storage and computing as used. I already talked about the innovation. Get the latest innovations in the system. Always staying current. Best-in-class security. Integration implementation. Pre-certified suite across the enterprise with the middleware called Ion. So real-time APIs and bots to allow us to connect to other systems without having to build it, which we historically had to do in legacy systems. Okay, at this point, I'm going to share my screen and jump into a brief demo. Great. Okay, so let's walk through a scenario, right, that maybe you have difficulty doing quickly or efficiently in A+. So let's just go through a sales scenario. Maybe a customer is calling looking for availability or pricing, and then maybe the status of a new order. And then finally, let's process a sales order. And then maybe as a sales rep, we'll quickly jump in and review some analytics that will help us make some of those critical business decisions. So let's start off by customer calls and wants to check on inventory and their pricing. We don't have to start a quote or an order. I can go into a function called pricing inquiry. Again, notice I could enter in an access code, or I could just start typing what I'm looking for. There is a main menu, of course, as well, but it's much easier to just use this access code panel. And now let's look up the customer in question. And that could be by entering part of their number I may know. It could be part of their name. It could be, and the more I give it, it narrows down my search results. So maybe I just know their phone number. And as I start entering digits, it's going to show me any of the accounts that begin with those digits and then narrow down the more I give it. Same with their address or their zip code or a contact. So again, very quick and powerful lookups. Same with on the product field, right? We can look by SKU, we can look by product description. There's a separate lookup name field that we can also utilize. And there we go. Some of my technology issues. I'm actually using a cellular hotspot to connect. So, but anyway, so lookups here I could do by grill. And again, I have choices. And then if I say built-in, right now, this is similar to what you're used to in Google, where at the top, you get items that contain both words you entered. And then below that, items that contain either or. Notice also, you get to see availability right here from this, what I call a quick look. Right? But let's say, there's 80 different grills. So we really need to click on this search icon to go into what's called an advanced lookup. And now we get to go in and see, again, some more of the description, availability. There's a 256 character extended description, all of which is part of your searches and lookups. So now I can quickly, again, find the item I'm looking for, select my item. I can review, obviously I have a nice image here. I see a current availability, the list price of this item, this customer's today price going through any of our contracts or pricing records. And I can do some manipulation here if I want to check for my quantity breaks, what it would be at a different unit of measure. I can also work with multiple items within this one screen and record the price as I work with each. And at the conclusion, hit create quote, generate a quote right from this inquiry and email it off. Let's say the customer, you're looking for the specs. They ask if we have the spec sheet for this grill. Well, I'm going to launch into my web part here for the integrated doc management system. And if I toggle down and look at digital documents associated with the product, I can quickly see this PDF. I may want to drill into it to see product details, right? Specs for this grill. Maybe I want to email it right from this web part. I can do so. So we've given them this information, and now let's say they have a question about that open order. So I'm going to jump into OEIO. Again, I could just type in the access code or what I'm trying to do. And if you know the order, of course, I could enter it, but I'm going to do an advanced search to find the order in question. And notice how I just have, for my experience, 7 fields enabled, because these are the fields that I typically use. But maybe in this situation, I need to find it by additional fields. That could be a date range that it was entered or invoiced. Maybe for a specific SKU or product. Maybe by reference field. And since this is all different sales documents, maybe I want to filter out by transaction types as well. And as a sales rep, maybe I quickly want to have access to my quotes or orders so I could have a save search that I could get to with one single click with these fields populated. I'm going to go ahead and just search by customer PO. Right? I find that document that they were referencing. If I did want to see something related to the account, notice this blue hyperlink. Whenever you see that, that gives you single click access to additional information. So you can drill across or drill down to additional information pertaining to this account. And I've got some nice visual sales analytics. Maybe I've got some credit information pertaining to the account, as well as all these different sub tabs at the top, which are additional information. But let's close this and go back to where we were in the order. Let's drill into the order in question. I see right away, I can see the stage of this order as it processes through the system, totals, information related to the order, some analytics. But notice a sub tab up here for line detail. Right? I can see the body of the order. Again, multiple hyperlinks. I could drill right into other inquiries from this list view. But let's say I really want to look at the tab extensions on this order, because that's what they're questioning. I could, excuse me, export it to Excel and do some filtering there. But I could also do filtering right here within CSD. So, and filtering on any column. So maybe I want to take the description column and say, well, let's filter out for items that contain certain characters or begins with or does not contain. So if I quickly want to see those tab extensions, I can do so. And maybe they just had questions about what we're shipping, what was back ordered, whatever it might be. So I give them that information, and of course I can clear that filter and see the rest of the order. Then we realize they haven't sent us the customer PO for this order. So again, I'm going to open up my web part and find the file that they just emailed me on my desktop. And it's as simple as a drag and drop, or I could have used a paperclip to browse out, but I'm just going to go ahead and drop it here. And now I can say, okay, what are we attaching it to? The sales order. What is it? Customer PO. Now I can upload that document. So when anyone's working with this sales document, whether an inquiry or entry, they have quick access to any digital documents that you've associated with it. And that goes for vendors, customers, part numbers, again, orders, POs, any entity, right, with the integrated document management system. Okay, so we've given them their update on this order, and now, thankfully, they're ready to place a new order with us. So I'm going to, this time I'll just go ahead and go through the menu system just to show you. I'm going to go ahead and go into order entry. And typically in order entry, you're doing one of a few different things. You're entering a new order, you're editing or maintaining an existing order, or you're deleting or canceling an order. You also have the ability to copy an order. So from an old order, from a template, possibly from one customer to another or one ship to another. Right? And there's an option to reprice it, of course, with current pricing. And nice, powerful utility to get orders into the system as quickly and easily as possible. So notice when I go click on this customer field, it remembers who we've been working with. So I don't have to do that, enter in the customer number again or do the lookup. I can select the customer I was working with. I'm going to go into my order and notice it's a left to right orientation. So my header or banner information is over here on the left, product selections here in the center, and then I have my shopping cart or footer over here on the right. You set your default preference for how you want to find products. This is what's called the easy entry, and I like it because if I type in, say I'm looking for an LED light, this customer wants a few different LED lights. Well, now to me, this resembles what we're used to in our personal lives. Maybe on Amazon, I see a short description. I see current availability, this customer's today price going through any of our contracts. But one nice thing about this lookup or entry method is that I might get multiple hits that this customer is interested in with this one search. And with one singular action, I can add multiple lines to the order. Okay. If I was finished, I could hit finish and get right out of the order. But let's say now the customer now wants to add something to the order. Maybe it's something they purchased 6 months ago or a year ago. So under this line entry, I'm going to jump into what's called shopping. And shopping, I can go from many different lists. Maybe it's promotional items we're pushing. Maybe it's custom product or custom lists of groups of products. But what I want to drive off of is past sales. And again, it's for any time period. And what you're provided with here is a simple list. So each item once. I see current availability, this customer's today price. This recommended quantity is the last quantity they purchased. Again, helps us with upselling. the last purchase date, last purchase price. And what's nice about this, and there's a ton more information and additional columns to the right, but what's nice about this list is it's actually an order pad. So I can search and find the item I want. I can do filtering as we talked about. But when I find those items, I can use my mouse or even my carriage return and arrow key and go down and toggle and set quantities for multiple items here. And again, with one singular action, I can add all those lines to my order. Okay. Another entry method is what we call advanced. This is probably something looks more familiar to what you're used to. That we can enter in a stock line, non-stock, special order line. Again, on a product, I could start entering the SKU or anything related to the item, part of the description, really anything that, and then the lookup field name, the description, the SKU number, a portion of it. Right? And I can select my item. In this case, when I add this frame to the order, notice right away it took me to another screen because it wants me to possibly add additional products, right? I can suggest, customer, do you need maybe hardware or belting to go with that frame? So now it's as simple as selecting an item. I can set the current quantity. Maybe I just want on this item, I'll leave it as 1. And now when I hit submit here, all 3 of those items are added to my order. Okay. What happens if I don't have the product available? So customer wants a certain product. Well, we have a few different options. Right away, the system's suggesting, do we want to view substitutes, upgrades, or alternate warehouse product? Well, yes, because I may have it in a different warehouse. Right? And if I were to select it, I could change it out of that warehouse right from this screen if I have security to do so. I may want to look up the cross-reference because maybe we have substitutes. Right? And if I were to select this item, because it's the same item, just a different manufacturer, it would be added to the order. But let's say, no, they want the specific item. If the user has security, they could go into sourcing. And again, that sourcing could be from a transfer. So I have visibility in other warehouses. Or it could be by a purchase order. And notice the system pulls up my default preferred vendor. And maybe your customer wants this item direct ship. And as soon as you were to hit submit here, a PO would immediately be created and tied to the sales order. But let's say the user doesn't have security to do the sourcing. So in that case, they would just add it to the order. You notice we get a diagnostic that a back order was created, but that's all the sales rep has to do. They don't have to add it to another file, send a note. That demand automatically rolls downhill to the buyer, and they consume it in what's called the demand center. Okay, and then they can analyze it, decide the best way to source that product, probably consolidate it with another buy to meet some kind of buying target to maybe get free freight. So now we've added our lines to our order. Let's say we want to go in and review the taxes and totals on this order. Right? Again, you can manually manage the tax jurisdictions, or there's an interface to something similar, or like Avalara, for example. I can review the totals. Or maybe I want to collect payment on this order. And that payment could be a dollar amount, could be a percentage, maybe it's a deposit, and that deposit stays with this order. Multiple payment types can be used on the same order if they want to pay some by check, some by credit card. Fully integrated credit card system that meets all the latest federal PCI requirements. So even though we have credit cards on file or you accept credit cards, none of that information is actually stored in your CloudSuite distribution system. It's tokenized and then it's processed and translated. Or in this example, we'll just hit finish. Now, of course, that order is going through any of the rules we have. Of course, credit limit's going to be reviewed. Maybe we have another rule that we're checking, margin tolerances, because we allowed this sales rep to manipulate pricing, and you can put fences around the margin tolerances. And if it fails, then it would initiate what's called a workflow. So think of the flow charts where we can automate, okay, who gets notified and who automatically gets tasks generated for them that they'd have to approve. So now that we processed the sales order, let's quickly jump in and look at some analytics. Again, as a sales rep here, I'm going to jump in. I land on my dashboard. Maybe I have my alerts or KPIs that are important to me, but I want to go ahead and just jump into the sales rep dashboard. And here, and again, this is part of the predefined content that comes with that optional BI product, but I can see KPIs for sales year-to-date dollars, profit, margin, again, different alerts that I've chosen to be on my dashboard, different categories, and maybe I want to select, let's say this case, a category and hit focus. Then it changes the entire dashboard for that one product category. So I can see all the analytics pertaining to that one category. If I scroll down further, of course, we get some customer metrics, top 10 growth customers. Where's the product going in the United States? Maybe I can use that information to focus my marketing in certain areas. Right, top 10 product categories. Again, all the BI and analytics you could think of. The idea is you have all that data in your ERP. How can we make useful decisions based on that data? Let's look at another example. Let me drill down into this dashboard and analyze this figure. Right? Of course, I have all this information here by product category. Maybe I want to see it by customer that I can toggle between. Maybe I want to see it by product. And maybe what I really want to do is do a nested view here where I see it by product, but really what I want to look at is by customer. So as a simple drag and drop, I can pull up the customer field and then let me scroll down and add product category underneath that. Right? So now I have at a customer level the totals for whatever time period is that I want. I could change it, select previous dates or ranges that I've saved. But I can now drill in, see it by product category, the totals, and then obviously then drill down into the product level. Let me go back to my product category here. What I want to do now is select a few different categories and open up what's called a matrix. Well, this is nice because it's really highlighting where I have a value in one, but not another. Well, what this really could be powerful and useful is let's go back up now and select customer. Well, now this is highlighting where you have customers. And let me go to get a better data set here. There we go. This is highlighting customers that have sales in one, but not another. Well, in our business, if you buy grills, you're going to need suppliers or connectors. Or if you buy supplies, why aren't you buying connectors? So now we're able to quickly analyze those sales and have a target, because we all know it's easier to expand our sales by targeting our existing customers versus trying to acquire new customers. So again, just a quick example of how this tool can be used to get that additional and useful information. Okay, let me switch back now, stop sharing my screen and get back to a few concluding slides. So in summary, what I really want to point out is that Infor is very distribution focused. As I mentioned, this is their flagship distribution product going forward, where they're not only adding new functionality, but also, again, leveraging technology and innovation to make users as efficient as possible and to enjoy working with the software. Who are we at Action? We currently have over 220 employees across the country, supporting over 6,500 customers. We're a national ERP software reseller and IT infrastructure provider. 2 company-owned data centers, top 20 VAR in North America, and recently won the 2023 Top Workplace Award, along with some other recognitions you see on the slide. What makes Action unique? We are the largest Infor distribution partner in North America. We partner with leading technology providers like Infor to transform business operations for our customers. We deliver high-value consultative services addressing business process improvement, including industry best practices and innovative technology solutions. And for our ERP implementations, our proprietary lean implementation process ensures a successful go live. Okay, with that, I think I left a few minutes left. Jason, did any questions come up? Look, Jason, I think you're muted.
I am. Technology is wonderful. Yes. Yeah, I think currently right now you've answered everyone's questions that's attending.
Great.
So yeah, great job on that. For everyone viewing this presentation, make sure to check out our CloudSuite distribution feature video library. It contains previous webinars, customer success stories, and more information to help you make a decision moving forward to an Infor CloudSuite distribution ERP solution. For any and all future questions, reach out to Mr. Rob Dallas at rdallas@action.com. He can answer your questions and help you set up a demo to view everything that Infor CloudSuite distribution can offer you and your business. Thank you for everyone for taking the valuable time out of your day to attend our event today. Thank you, Rob, for a wonderful presentation. Everyone, have a great day, and we will see you next time. Have a great one, everyone. See you, Rob. Thank you.
Bye-bye.